The Revolution Within, Why Your Breakthrough Begins with Mindset, Not Circumstance. Have you ever noticed how we're obsessed with external solutions? We think the next job, relationship, or achievement will finally make everything click. But what if I told you that the most powerful transformation doesn't start out there at all? I recently had the extraordinary privilege of interviewing Kimberley Hamilton for the Pink Parachute Diaries podcast. Her insights weren't just thought provoking, they were revolutionary. Kimberly is one of those rare individuals whose wisdom cuts through the noise of conventional thinking and illuminates truths we've always sensed but couldn't articulate. Her work in empowering Black women to reclaim their inner authority has literally transformed thousands of lives, creating ripple effects that extend far beyond individual transformation into community and organizational change. The truth she shared is startling in its simplicity, yet radical in its implications. The power to transform your life is already within you. Your breakthrough begins with a shift in mindset, not your circumstances. Let that sink in for a moment. We've been trained to believe that external validation is the path to fulfillment. That if we just get that promotion, find that perfect partner, or reach that ideal weight, then we'll finally feel whole. But Kimberly Hamilton's perspective turns this conventional wisdom on its head. What if the real transformation begins inside? What if the external changes we seek are actually the result, not the cause of our breakthrough? This isn't some feel good platitude. This is about fundamentally reimagining how transformation works. Think about it. How many times have you achieved something you thought would change everything, only to find yourself feeling exactly the same afterward? The new job title loses its shine. The bigger house still feels empty. The relationship that was supposed to complete you somehow doesn't. That's because we've been looking for answers in all the wrong places. During my conversation with Kimberly, she emphasized three critical insights that completely reframe how we should approach personal transformation. First, your power lies within. You don't need external validation or rescue. The ability to change your life starts with a decision to shift from within. Second, healing and alignment are foundational. True success and fulfillment come from prioritizing healing, self honoring, and alignment over hustle and performance. And third, mindset shifts lead to real change, changing how you think, speak about yourself, love yourself, nurture your energy, and trust timing creates lasting transformation, not just hard work. These aren't just abstract concepts. They are principles that have transformed real lives in profound ways. Take Jacqueline Mitchell, for example. She's a leader who's empowering Black professionals through intentional healing initiatives like Let's Get This Glow Up. Her work focuses on mental, emotional, and spiritual well being as the foundation for impactful leadership. Mitchell recognized a critical challenge. Black professionals often face workplace environments that require them to compartmentalize trauma while performing at high levels. Many struggle with burnout due to systemic barriers and lack of authentic support. Her solution? Turn inward first. Address personal well being before trying to change external circumstances. Build authentic community spaces where Black professionals can heal together. The results have been remarkable. Participants report increased resilience, clarity and purpose, and sustainable excellence in their careers without sacrificing their wholeness. Mitchell's story is powerful because she recognized that traditional narratives around success, sacrifice at all costs, were incomplete for Black professionals navigating predominantly white dirt. spaces. So she ignited a movement challenging generational conditioning about what success looks like. Her programs have helped countless individuals reclaim their energy and rise authentically. Her approach has shifted conversations around leadership development by centering healing as essential rather than optional. This perfectly illustrates Kimberly Hamilton's point. Internal shifts precede external rises. The breakthrough begins with mindset, not circumstance. But Mitchell isn't the only one demonstrating this principle in action. Consider Letitia Clark, founder of the Pink Parachute Diaries podcast. Clark created this platform after noticing talented Black women being overlooked or pushed out of workplaces while less qualified colleagues thrived. She observed that Black women were losing not just jobs, but also their voices due to fear of reinforcing stereotypes or being labeled difficult if they spoke up about inequity. Clark's solution was brilliant in its simplicity. Create a platform focused on authentic storytelling where women could share journeys of resilience without shame or isolation. The podcast fosters connection through shared experiences of overcoming adversity. The outcomes speak volumes. Listeners report feeling validated in their struggles while finding hope through collective stories of rising despite setbacks. Clark saw brilliant women disappear from companies and from themselves after experiencing repeated workplace injustices. But no one was talking openly about it until she started this space for truth telling. The podcast became an influential space, amplifying underrepresented voices. It sparked industry wide discussions on equity while helping individuals reconnect with themselves during times of transition or crisis. Again, we see Kimberly Hamilton's insight validated, shifting mindset from silence and self sacrifice toward truth telling and community building empowers individuals internally before any external change occurs. These stories aren't just inspiring, they're instructive. They show us that transformation follows a pattern, and that pattern begins inside. But here's where many of us get stuck. We intellectually understand this concept, but we struggle to apply it. We know we should focus on internal shifts, but we keep getting distracted by external goals and metrics. Why is that? Part of the answer lies in how we've been conditioned. From early childhood, we're taught that our value comes from what we achieve, not who we are. We learn to seek validation from others rather than trusting our inner wisdom. This conditioning is particularly intense for Black women who often face the double bind of racism and sexism. Society sends constant messages that they must work twice as hard to get half as far, that they must be perfect to be acceptable, that their worth is tied to their productivity. Kimberly Hamilton's message directly challenges this conditioning. She reminds us that we are inherently worthy, regardless of external achievements, that healing is not a luxury, but a necessity, that alignment with our authentic selves is the foundation for sustainable success. This message is revolutionary because it inverts the traditional success formula. Instead of achieve first, then be happy, it suggests heal first, then achieve authentically. But how do we actually make this shift? How do we move from intellectual understanding to embodied practice? The answer isn't complicated, but it does require courage. It starts with small, daily choices that honor self worth over performance. Maybe it's setting a boundary around your time. Maybe it's speaking kindly to yourself when you make a mistake. Maybe it's prioritizing rest, even when your to do list isn't complete. These small choices might seem insignificant in isolation, but collectively they represent a profound shift in how you relate to yourself and the world. And here's the beautiful paradox. When you focus on internal transformation, external circumstances often naturally improve as a result. not because you're directly pursuing them, but because you're showing up differently in the world. When you value yourself, others tend to value you more too. When you set healthy boundaries, relationships improve. When you align with your authentic purpose, opportunities that match that purpose tend to appear. This isn't magical thinking, it's practical psychology. How you perceive yourself influences how others perceive you. How you treat yourself influences how others treat you. How you show up in the world influences what the world offers back. So I stand before you today with an invitation, no, a challenge. What if, starting right now, you decided to revolutionize your approach to transformation? What if you committed to prioritizing internal shifts over external fixes? I'm not asking you to abandon your goals or dreams. I'm asking you to pursue them from a different foundation, one built on self worth, healing, and alignment rather than validation seeking and exhaustion. This revolution begins with a single question: what would change if I truly believed that my power lies within, not in my circumstances? The answer to that question could transform not just your life, but our collective reality. Because when enough of us shift from seeking external validation to claiming our internal power, we don't just change ourselves, we change the systems that have kept us small. This is the true revolution, not just to achieve it differently, but to be different, not just to have more, but to be more, not just to look successful, but to feel fulfilled. The power for that revolution is already within you. Today, right now, I challenge you to claim it. Start with one small act of self trust, one moment of choosing alignment over approval, one decision to honor your healing above your hustle. Because your breakthrough isn't waiting for your circumstances to change, it's waiting for you to change how you see yourself. And that revolution begins now.